Well, it was 1 year ago today that Mayor Olivia Chow walked into Toronto City Hall to take part in the Declaration Office ceremony, becoming the city's 66th mayor.
It's definitely been a whirlwind of a year, to say the least, and Mayor Chow is joining us live on the couch this morning to look back and look ahead. And we were just talking before we came up about this whirlwind of the year. When you look back on the past year, Mayor Chow, and you think about your achievements or maybe setbacks, how has this year gone by, and what does stand out to you in your mind?
What stood out is the stories of people finding housing through my office, through my work, but also feeling hopeful because we're building housing. And stories are so important because that's what fuel me. And that's how we need to continue to move forward, with hope that things would change for the better. Whether it's public transit, building housing, all of those things, we need to listen to what people really need and deliver the service they want. So it's those bright moments where they said, I spoke to Michelle over the weekend, and being able to find the kind of housing where she and her 16-year-old kid can settle. She was so scared about being homeless. And I get it. Like, some people are just hanging by their fingertips, right? Yeah. And the public transit, right? TTC. We need new infrastructure. We need better services. We need safety. We need to make it affordable. So all of those things. So no fare increase, more staff to keep people safe.
Yeah. So, Mayor Chow, it sounds like, you're pretty proud of, what you did to help that woman who needed housing. And obviously, you uploaded the gardener, for the province. Is there something that you maybe wish you did differently, or regret, or wish you could have done a little, different this year as mayor when you look at the things on the agenda?
Oh, I wish we could house the people living on the street faster, but because there are so many newcomers arriving on the street, it seems like the more shelter we open, the more it's filled up.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And in terms of housing, we're building them, but there's so many being demolished or people being renovated. So yes, we are now putting in a bylaw to prevent illegal evictions. I wish I did that earlier, because during this year there had been people that have been renovated, but they didn't need to leave their unit. They could have, the renovation could have happened with them in there. And it was just an excuse so that the rent would double, triple. I wish I did that earlier, but we're doing it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better late than never, I suppose. Okay, and Mayor Chow, it's interesting. As a politician, you well know that there are ebbs and flows in your popularity and approval. You had a nice honeymoon period, and then at the beginning of the year, your approval numbers started to drop. But then the liaison polls just came out this week on the anniversary of you becoming mayor, and it shows a pretty strong approval rating once again, around 59% or so amongst Toronto voters. I think as a politician, you've got to be reasonably happy with that. But you just mentioned some interesting issues. On affordable housing, people seem happy, but on things like traffic congestion and on crime, people are certainly unhappy here. I'm sure you hear that day in and day out at your office. What would you like to see, or what do you think is within your power to control when it comes to those big issues of crime and congestion?
Very good question. We're noticing young people being recruited into gangs. 14-year-old shooting people. That's like, whoa. And we need to get to the root cause of it. The pandemic, children were isolated. They weren't learning social skills. And they are now, gangs are trying to recruit them. And young kids at 14, 15, 16 want to have a sense of belonging. The city can do so much more, listening to the communities to say, yes, we could booster up a stronger community, have more after-school programs, more mentorship program, after-school coaching. There's so much more. And we need to listen to the mothers to say, hey, we really need help. And that's what we're doing, but it's hard because those are lost years for kids.
Certainly.
And to overcome that, takes a lot of work. They say it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to get those kids back to say, no, you can remain hopeful. Don't just get recruited. And you know what? I'm looking for young people that have turned their lives around to be role model and say to those, you don't need to travel the road that I did. I got my thing, got out of jail, found jobs, found hope, and those are the ways. There are many ways. Show these kids the path out of poverty, of despair, of just wanting to belong to gangs. On the congestion,
yeah.
We haven't built transit for so long. Now we're building the subways, the LRT, so it's growing pain. It's that period that's really hard. Take a deep breath. We are coordinating the construction as quickly as possible. We're piloting AI traffic signal to make it smarter. Rogers, TELUS, and Bell are working with us, but we are doing the piloting right now. We're not full out yet. We hired those traffic agents to direct traffic, right? They're working. We want more of those.
Definitely, everyone wants more.
I know, they work well.
They do, but Mayor Chow, let's talk about the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. I know that's not really your jurisdiction. But there seems to be some back and forth. Metrolink's always saying we're going to give an update, that there's no update until the next update. It's very
frustrating.
Is there anything the city can do to, I don't know, pressure them to get more answers? Because it just feels like a stalemate.
I know. We've been asking.
Yeah.
We have the money put aside to, and thank you for the new deal for uploading the Gardner and being able to get freeing up some money. And we have money put aside. If tomorrow they open up Eglinton, Crosstown, and Finch, we can operate it. This is TDC. So come on, get with it. Hopefully the end of the year or early next year, it can't, they are this close apparently. And I check in all the time. Our city manager talking to Phil, who's the head of Metrolink.
Burster,
it's Ontario government. And I think the Ontario government are just as pushy. But once you sign the contract like 15 years ago,
everyone wants it finished, but just getting to that point seems to be the issue. And I don't want to run out of time without asking about the story Courtney Heels is on this morning, Mayor. She's outside Ontario Place, where, of course, now there's an injunction about stopping some of the demolition that's taking place there. It seems this political football of part of it's the city, part of it's the province, part of it is private enterprise. What more can the city do to get some clarification on what's going to ultimately happen at Ontario Place, and particularly this injunction we're at right now?
Well, it's not just Ontario Place, it's the Ontario Science
Center as well, of course.
It was so sad when the Science Center closed. My 4 grandkids just freaked out and said, what? We can't go visit it this summer? So there's a lot of negotiation, but it's really up to the province at the end of the day. We'll do what we can. We are supporting and saying that, look, don't build a parking lot on the on the Ontario Place. Come over to the X. Like on the, we have land, right? Yeah. So in terms of Science Center, we say, what can we do to help? But at the end of the day, they need to fix it. They can't just leave it there. What are you going to do with this building? What are we going to do with the building, right?
Everyone wants some clarity, that's for sure.
We will cooperate as much as we can. But we don't have the financial means and the might to step in and say, oh, we'll fix it, we'll run it. No, we can't do that.
Yeah, very quickly, Mayor Chow, we've had some viewers' responses this morning asking about what they would like to see prioritized. Some people are complaining about the dirtiness of the city, the graffiti, the pollution, just kind of the overall look and feel of our city compared to other cities. We're hosting the World Cup in about 2 years' time. So is there going to be any effort to kind of physically clean up the debris that we see around Toronto?
Absolutely. You notice we are replacing those garbage bins that the mouth is too small, you can't stuff things in there. We're replacing them, like they're faulty design, right? We're opening up the washroom earlier, the wading pool earlier, but cleanliness, absolutely. There's a report coming in the fall to look at what kind of contracts we have. Can we do better? Can we hire more people? So there's a combination of things that make it not that simple, but no excuse. We can deliver better services. We fixed 150,000 potholes, but the roads are still really bumpy. We need to repave it, not just to fill the
like
potholes.
a cavity filling or something. Yeah.
Don't remind me of that. Gosh.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, listen, Mayor Chow, we appreciate you dropping by on the anniversary of you becoming mayor. So we'll look forward to seeing and talking to you, of course, throughout your second year of your term. So thanks so much for joining us on Breakfast this morning.
Thanks for your time.
Good to see you.
A lot of work. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.